brewed. About 700 million litres of sake is consumed each year. That represents almost 7 litres for every Japanese adult. In ancient Japan, sake was considered a sacred drink, and it was offered to the deities. Rituals like this continue to the present day. On festive occasions, it's traditional to break open a cask of sake, beating on the lid with wooden mallets. Because the lid of the sake cask is round, it represents harmony, and the act of opening the cask symbolizes the spreading of good fortune. The sake is served to everyone present, so that they can share in this felicitous moment. Every year in spring, a national sake tasting competition is held. Selected from throughout the country, each sake is evaluated on its aroma, flavor, and other qualities. There are around 1,800 breweries in Japan, between them making more than 15,000 different products. Each part of Japan emphasizes its own regional differences, and there is a growing appreciation of distinctive local sake varieties. Sake is an alcoholic beverage brewed through a fermentation process. The primary ingredient is rice, the staple grain of Japan. Just as with the grapes used to make wine, there are specialized varieties of rice that are used for brewing sake. Let's look at the processes that go into producing sake. The first step in sake making is to polish the rice. Special equipment is used that strips away the outer layers of each rice grain. The more the rice is polished, the purer the flavor of the resulting sake. This gives the sake greater sweetness and fragrance. After being washed, to help it absorb moisture better, the polished rice is then steamed. It's a vital process that will influence the final flavor of the sake. An essential ingredient in the brewing process is the fermentation agent known as koji. Spores of a special mold are sprinkled onto steamed rice. Once inoculated this way, the koji mold starts to grow. After 2 days, the rice is entirely covered by the mold. This is what the koji looks like when it's ready. The starch in the rice has been converted into glucose, which gives the sake its sweetness and richness. The next step is to add a yeast starter to the mash. This kicks off the fermentation process that produces the alcohol. The yeast is also critical in determining the flavor and aroma of the finished sake. After 1 month of fermentation, the alcohol content will rise to as much as 20%. The mash is then filtered through cloth to separate the liquid from the lees. This is pure, undiluted sake. Nowhere else in the world has a traditional fermented beverage been developed that attains such a high level of alcohol. Thanks to the skill, experience, and craftsmanship of the brewers, another batch of sake has been created. Premium quality sake has been starting to find fans abroad in recent years. In England, one of the world's most prestigious wine competitions established a new sake division in 2007. Over the past 5 years, British imports of sake have doubled. These days, as the popularity of Japanese cuisine spreads, sake is starting to be embraced by drinkers around the world.